Hello people, I am the Real Mac Gamer, and today on Versus, I will be pitting Captain America versus Jonah Hex. Yes, I am making this a series now. I had a positive comment on my last Versus video and no negative comments, so I decided to make this a series. And yeah, no one's ever thought of this battle, and I just thought it would be pretty cool to put Captain America versus Jonah Hex. So here we are. I don't know a whole lot of Captain America's origin, so sorry if I mess anything up. But yeah, this is what I do know. Captain America, well yeah, I'm going to start off with their origins. Captain America was, scrawny little Steve Rogers, and he just wanted to do his part for America, fight the Nazis, and just do his part in the military and defend our country. But he got rejected because he was too small, too scrawny, and he was just, this little guy. But he was so persistent that General Chester Phillips decided to accept him into the military. And then he got into Operation Rebirth, and Joseph Reinstein, scientist, chose him to be the first test subject for the Super Soldier Serum. And yeah, the Super Soldier Serum is pretty much just a long-lasting steroid. That's pretty much all it is. Except it enhances everything, and except you don't look disgustingly big like some people who use steroids. But yeah, it enhances your speed, strength, all that stuff. And yeah, but then after the test, a Nazi spy killed the scientist Reinstein, and but then Captain America killed the Nazi spy with his new strength, and he was the only person because no one else knew the formula or anything. Reinstein had it to memory, and so Captain America was the only, is the only super soldier. Well, was, I guess there's others, but yeah. And then but then Captain America took on the persona of Captain America. The government gave him his costume, and he had a kite-shaped shield, which was just bulletproof, but it wasn't really anything that special. And he became a counterintelligence agent and did a bunch of stuff for the government with his new powers and everything. And then Franklin D. Roosevelt gave him his vibranium shield, his circle vibranium shield that everyone knows today. Vibranium is the stuff from, I think it's called Wakanda, something like that. Wherever Black Panther is over there, that's practically indestructible. And yeah, and so he uses that to fight crime, and yeah, he uses that to become the Captain America he is today. And as far as his training goes, I'll get into that later, but that's just the origin. Now next is the origin of Jonah Hex. And Jonah Hex has a much darker past than Captain America. But let's get into it. Jonah Hex, when he was a kid, his mother left him and went with left him and his father and went with another man, and did not take Jonah, because the guy did not want Jonah, and obviously she did not care that much about Jonah, because she left because his father was very abusive. And she didn't really care for Jonah, because otherwise, she would have taken him. But one day, then Jonah's father sold him to Apaches, and that's when he was about, I'd say 10, 11 years old. And Jonah then was raised by the Apaches, and he got training by the Apaches. He got trained by the Apaches, but one day when they were going to steal horses from these people, Jonah and another Apache were like, "Today we will be men." But then the Apache betrayed Jonah and just knocked him out and left him there. And then some guys, some Southerners found him, and then he got into the Civil War, fought for the South, and he used his Apache's tactics and everything to do that. But then they got blindsided by the North, and he was the only person alive there, and the North took him captive and whipped his face, had him tied up to a raft, and just started whipping him, and then sent him down the river. And there he got discovered by a family who rescued him. And then after that, he decided to go get revenge on the Indian that had betrayed him before. And so he went there, and everyone was so surprised to see him because the Indian had lied to everyone, told them that that Jonah had died. And Jonah and this Indian went to some Apache battle to where they both have tomahawks to see who's the better warrior. That's how they settle things in that Apache tribe. And so yeah, they're fighting and everything. And then Jonah Hex says the guy gave him a broken tomahawk, so Jonah Hex takes a knife and stabs him straight in the throat and kills the Indian. But then that's against the rules, and so the Apache see it as a disgrace, even though he gave him a broken tomahawk, and Jonah Hex bleeds for his case, but no one cares. And so then they tie him up to a tree and they burn a tomahawk on his face, and that's why Jonah Hex's face is so messed up today, because of, well, when he got whipped by the North in the face, and then when he got the tomahawk burned onto his face. So that's why Jonah Hex looks the way he is, and he has a very troubled past. Poor Jonah. Now let's get into their equipment. Now for Captain America, he has his shield, his vibranium shield, which is virtually indestructible and very bouncy. But yeah, that's pretty much all he carries. Sometimes he'll carry a gun, but you know, normally Captain America just has his shield. Now as for Jonah Hex, he'll normally have just his 2 6-shooters, and then sometimes he'll have a rifle or a shotgun, just something like that. And that's his arsenal. These guys don't really have that big of arsenals. And he also carries around a knife. And now let's get into their training. Captain America was trained by the U.S. military and some other people. I don't know a whole lot about his training, but but I know he was trained really good because he doesn't have the super soldier serum in this issue, and he beats Crossbones. If you don't know who Crossbones is, he's one of the deadliest mercenaries in the Marvel universe. Maybe the deadliest, but he is one of the deadliest mercenaries in the Marvel universe. He is a great hand-to-hand combatant, and Captain America just has his shield, and he doesn't have the super soldier serum, and he beats him just because it was great training. And Crossbones only lands like 1 hit on him, and so yeah, he's a really good fighter. And then for also he beat these two. I have this issue to where he also doesn't have his super soldier serum, and these 2 guys do have super soldier serum, and he beats both of them. So yeah, he was trained really well. I don't know who. Sorry about that. I don't know that much about Captain America. Well, as far as his origin and training go, because I really do like the character. But next is Jonah Hex. Jonah Hex was trained by the Apaches. Yeah, if you know, the Apaches are very, very deadly warriors, and yeah, some of the best, especially back in that time, they were the best, I would say. And then he got a little bit of training while he was in the, I don't remember what it's called, but you know, the South, when it's Civil War, when he was fighting for the South. He got some training from them, and then he also learned his own, sort of taught himself, and throughout the years as a bounty hunter, he's just made his own sort of fighting style, mixing the Apache with his gun. But also, Jonah Hex is the fastest gun in the, well, I will say in the DC universe, probably out of the Marvel universe too, but he is the fastest gun in the DC universe. Yeah, and he does not have any enhancements or anything. He's just a normal guy, you know, as normal as he can get. No powers or anything. But yeah, he is, I don't know where he learned to shoot. But well, I guess he taught himself, and when he was fighting for the South, I guess he taught himself. Maybe they say somewhere else, but I just don't have the comic, I guess, if they say who trained him to shoot like that. But he is the fastest gun, and yeah, he's very, very deadly. Now let's go through some scenarios. Scenario 1, just like last time, is they're stripped away of everything, just hand to hand. They're going at it, to where, except Captain America obviously still has his super soldier serum. And yeah, I would have to say that Captain America just wins that barely because of his super soldier serum. I'd have to say that's the only reason he wins it, and just barely, because Jonah Hex is a very ruthless and good hand-to-hand combatant, but he just couldn't match up to the speed that Captain America has, and yeah, and the strength that Captain America has. This next scenario is the whole one that this video is based off of. That's what this thing is based off of, is this one. The other one was just to add more clarity and more to like the overall of the battle. So this is this scenario is they just met and they had their normal arsenal, to where Captain America just has his shield and, you know, his super soldier serum, and then Jonah Hex just has his 6 shooters and a tomahawk or a knife. He normally has one or the other, sometimes both. We'll just say a tomahawk. That's what Jonah Hex has, and Captain America has his shield. They just met, no pre-planning, and that's the battle. They're gonna fight, and I would have to just barely, like by a smidge, I'd have to give this to Jonah Hex, mainly because of how fast of a shooter he is. Like, I mean, his accuracy too is not just, you know, he shoots fast. It's the fact about that combined with his accuracy. I have a feeling he could go into where him and Captain America will get in an up close battle. They start fighting, and I would say that Captain America would miss like once with his shield, and that's when he's done. That's when Jonah Hex pulls out his 6-shooter and just shoots him, and it's like lightning. And he moves so quick, even with Captain America's enhanced reflexes, he couldn't move out of the way of the shot or anything. And I'm not saying that's how it would go, but I have a feeling that's like the way it would be. I'd say Jonah Hex wins this just by a smidge, barely, just barely beats Captain America. But yeah, that's my thoughts on this battle. What are your thoughts? Leave them in the comment section below, and if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like.